Hi, I'm Van Phillips, European Tour winner and PGA coach, and in this video I'm going to talk about how we smash the 3-wood off the fairway. Now, we need to make some key distinctions between the 3-wood and the driver, because obviously they're of similar length. There's only a couple of inches between them in general, and a lot of amateurs can get the wrong impression that actually they can pretty much set up the same to their driver and 3-wood. So obviously the driver's on a T-peg and we want to hit massively up on a driver if we want to maximise the distance there, and the 3-wood obviously is predominantly struck from the ground. It's a fairway club, and I'm talking about shots from the fairway specifically in this video. So we've got two massive discrepancies there, and one that you should be really aware of. So in the setup itself with the 3-wood, we need to change a few things from the driver. So the driver, we would set 60 or 70% of that weight on the back foot because we'd like to encourage that upward blow. With the 3-wood, I would really recommend that we adopt a very 50-50 weight distribution. Okay, so we want to feel very even. We don't want to set the weight onto that back foot, and that's going to give us more of a chance now to create a descending blow. So the driver, we're looking for an ascending blow. This 3-wood, we really need to hit down on this ball now. We need to create the most compression and impact on the ball. We've got to have a downward blow. So weight distribution at the address position is going to help you with that. So very much 50-50. Now, ball position also, with the driver, I always advocate that we line up in the center of the lead peck, the peck that's nearest the target. So a good 5 or 6 inches forward of the sternum. Now with fairway shots with the 3-wood, I would recommend that you feel almost that you line that ball up just to the left of the sternum. So, you know, it's a very grey area. Obviously nobody can set up within a millimetre each time, but if you can just feel the ball is just a hair left of the sternum this time, okay? So pretty much equidistant between the driver position, which was very much centre of that forward peck. We're going to just come backwards towards the sternum now, so it's going to feel a little bit more central, okay? Ball position certainly relative to a driver, and you need to sort of make these comparisons because they help you to find the right position. So, you know, pretend where you'd have that driver almost as a little routine when you're on the fairway, set up like it was a driver, and then shuffle a little bit towards the target so that you know you've got that ball position just a little bit back of where the driver would be. So 50-50 weight distribution. We've got a good ball position now to encourage a little bit of a downward blow into impact, and I want to get into that really now. I'm not going to get into the mechanics of backswing. This video is really just about how to give you a feel for creating solid impact with that fairway wood. Okay, so you've all got your own individual backswings, and I want to really get into this video how we're going to encourage some shaft lean at impact, okay? And when we get the shaft leaning towards the target at impact, that encourages the downward blow that we're looking for. And what we can do to help us to achieve that, again, is we can be very aware of the rear elbow move in transition. So as you're coming down into this golf ball, you've got to be really aware to drive that lead elbow forward, and that helps you massively maintain wrist angles, okay? It's very hard to drive the elbow forward and get rid of the wrist angle at the same time. It's almost impossible. So by driving that leader, that rear elbow forward, you're creating much more lag. You're creating more lag angle here, and the more lag angle you can get, the more potential shaft lean you're going to have at impact. So you're going to have that grip in front of the golf ball a lot more if you can work on driving that rear elbow in your transition move. So I talk about this a lot in my wood swing video. So drivers, 3-woods, also to do with path and stopping you from slicing the ball. This is such a key move to cure a lot of amateur faults. So it's a great move to cure the slice, it's a great move for power off the tee, and it's a great move into impact with a fairway wood because it encourages a little bit of a later hit and more of a shaft lean into impact. Now, obviously, we can do the same elbow move with a driver, but because of our weight shift and weight distribution changes, we're still able to hit up on it, but we don't want that now with 3-wood. So even though we want this elbow move to help us create maximum lag and shaft lean, we've got to be a little bit more aware now into the ball that we're actually having a sense of covering the ball a bit more with our chest. So we need to feel, as we transfer that weight over to the left side with a fairway wood, we need to feel a little bit more like we move the chest with the hips. So we're going to create a little bit more of a descending blow and trap the ball between that club face and the turf. Okay, the last thing we want to do with a 3-wood is try and help it into the air. Okay, we've got to trust the loft. This has got 15 degrees of loft. Some of you guys may have a stronger wood at 13 degrees, but you've got to remember that it is a 3-wood. We're not expecting it to fly into orbit. We've just got to trust that loft, and we've got to use our weight transfer, and we've got to use the shaft lean to get some compression. We've got to squash that ball with a 3-wood. We're not trying to sweep it, we're trying to squash it. Okay, so key elements for your 3-wood off the deck: setup, make sure the ball position is only a smidgen towards the target, okay, from relative to your sternum, just a little bit towards the target from the sternum. Use your driver setup as a reference, so go into driver mode where it's in the middle of the forward pec, then come back a little bit so you know that you've made that difference between driver and 3-wood position. Then weight distribution, you're going to feel very 50-50, okay, and again, if you want to, you can make sure you can experiment, go a little bit to the right foot and then bring it back. It's always good sometimes to have little reference points, so move around a bit, feel what's back foot and then come back to 50-50. Downswing, then we're looking for a feeling of moving the hips and the chest a little bit towards the target. You want to almost feel like the sternum has moved a tiny bit ahead of the golf ball, okay? At the same time, we're driving that rear elbow forward, and that's going to maximize shaft lean into the ball. So we're going to have the best chance to keep those hands in front of the club head and therefore get a descending blow and really squash that ball into the turf. Okay, let's see if I can put some of those characteristics into action. And I just like to add that don't be afraid to take a divot with the 3-wood, okay? Taking a divot is a good sign that you've hit down through the shot. That's what we're looking for with fairway shots. Sergio Garcia, obviously one of the best players in the world for 20 odd years, he regularly takes divots with his fairway wood. So again, just having that in your mind can start to create some of the right characteristics for a nice impact. So we really want that intention to strike down on this thing and not try and help it up into the air. We're going to trust the loft. Beautiful compression there, got that one coming out really squeezy, lots of compression on the ball, and it all came from moving that sternum slightly in front of the golf ball into impact, driving that rear elbow, which helped me keep the shaft lean. And there's actually a nice little divot here in the turf, just a skinny divot, but that tells me that I really compressed that ball. I drove the club face down and through impact, and that's what we're looking for. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please head over to my website www.vanphillips.co.uk. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.